Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Business. Thank you again to Leo Lodiki of Tea and Whisk for coming onto our show last Monday. We have another amazing guest today that will give us a good perspective on a matter which is very, very important and people refer to as a real art, which is excellent customer service. But before we bring her in, let's talk about that. Let's talk about excellent customer service. So why is excellent customer service so important? Customer service is how your company interacts with your clients, both in day-to-day operations and, more importantly, creating solutions to your clients' issues. The customer service experience truly has an effect on your company's profitability, as your business customer service team will be responsible for customer needs and, of course, retaining your clients. You know, we put a lot of effort, and we've talked about it in this show, about marketing, the different types of marketing, social media, print, and your main goal is to drive clients inside your door. It would be a shame if you spent so much money on that and then it's just a one-time transaction and then that's it. Every successful business goal is to keep their clients coming back, retention, right? And of course, sell for them. Get your clients to sell for you. That's marketing through referral and word of mouth. So here are the reasons why excellent customer service is so crucial to your business success. Number one, I just mentioned it, retention. Great experience will ensure that your client will come back as a more loyal client. And of course, the more loyal clients that you have, the bigger your company will grow. Let me share a story with you. Okay, this was my first awakening on excellent customer service. When we were still living in California, there was a cleaners nearby our house, and they were good, but they were not the greatest. I'll be honest. You know what? I'll tell my wife, tell them light starch on the color, please. It will come in hard as a rock. But my wife would refuse to change cleaners. And I kept on asking her, why? Why won't you change cleaners? And she told me, well, you know what? They are excellent in providing customer service. They're very nice to me. They chat with me all the time. They call me by my first name, and they always help her with her clothes to her car. That's going above and beyond. But you build that customer loyalty, and even though I was not completely happy with the hard starch, my wife was. So what can I do? That's the power of excellent customer service on retention. Second, it helps with employee retention. People love to work for companies that treat their clients fairly. Not only will they be loyal, but they will also be your biggest advocates, because they're going to be telling people about your company. They're going to tell their friends, their families, their contacts how great the company that they work for is. Not to mention, they will work harder for you, of course. Zappos is a great example of this. Their culture is all about customer service, and their employees, they are very loyal when it comes to marketing their own, in fact. Number three, it reinforces company values, brand, and culture. It will definitely affect how people will perceive your company. Companies that are built on excellent customer service become known for it, and they develop excellent reputations and loyal followers. I'm going to give you some examples of companies, and tell me or think about what comes first to mind when I say them. Nordstrom, Disney, Ritz, Zappos. These, of course, are big companies, but the first thing that comes to your mind is excellent customer service. There are also a lot of smaller local companies that do the same for you. One of them is our guest for tonight. Number four, I mentioned this earlier, generate referrals. Customers that have received excellent customer service will refer business to their friends, family, and contacts. Word of mouth referrals carry so much more weight than any marketing effort. You have a testimonial. You have somebody that they trust basically telling them about you already. Your foot's in the door. That is why organizations such as BNI or LITIP exist. All they do is pass referrals. In banking, this is how we make our goals, by getting referrals from our clients. If you're a good commercial banker, for example, and you gave excellent customer service to somebody, trust me, they will refer you to their network. It increases customer value. This happens when your clients become repeat and loyal customers, and their per item price point becomes larger. Their repeat business contributes to your profit, and now you also have a relationship with them that's built on trust. Our guest last week was the perfect example, Tea and Whisk, right? They've built the trust that he is the go-to person when it comes to tea. He sells good products. His price point is higher, but people buy, and purchases are getting larger and larger. Sixth, it gives you a true competitive edge. One of the questions that I always ask our guests: what sets you apart from other businesses in your industry? This is one of the biggest answers: customer service. Sometimes it's truly hard to compete with bigger companies, especially if they're a national chain. They can afford to buy the latest and greatest in technology. The best way is to have better customer service. Most people still like the personal touch. Yes, tech is great, tech is convenient, but there are times that you want that person to be able to talk to. Banking is that way. That's how smaller banks survive. They have more personalized service. They still have the bankers that you can easily call and say, "Hey, Sonny, I need a loan. What should I do?" Instead of, "I'll just apply through online." It's a different experience when you feel like you have a partner instead of just calling into a company. So we've talked about why it's important, and those are just a few reasons. There's more, but remember, it's only a 30-minute show, so we can only cover a few. But now, here are some of the ideas on how to provide excellent customer service. Now, trust me when I tell you it's different for every industry. I know that because every industry is unique. So we'll just go through some of the general things that you can do to provide excellent customer service. I think the biggest one is hiring the right people. Making sure that you hire people with great attitude, they're like-minded, they fit your culture, and I've talked about that several times, and they're committed to excellent customer service. In my experience when I was in retail when a long time ago when I first got out of college. I worked for Sunglass Hut, and my secret has always been recruiting my own people. Yes, I would take in people once in a while that would apply, but I really enjoyed recruiting, looking for people, when I go to different shops and seeing them in action. Because they're not just answering your questions in an interview, you've actually seen them and how they interact with other people. So hiring the right people is a great thing. Listen to your clients' needs. Be a great listener and pay attention to how you can really help them. A biggest example of this is probably the biggest cliche: a salesman for car dealerships. One of my good friends went to a car dealership and wanted to buy an SUV for his wife. And the salesman kept on pushing them for a sports car because he wasn't listening that it's for the wife and not for the husband. And he was going to be used for the kids, for soccer. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Really listen to what your clients need. It's important for them that you really take the time and match them to the right product, because it tells them that you're really paying attention to their well-being. Honesty. Be honest, as clients can see through BS really fast. If you do not know an answer, to their question or about a service or product. Don't make up an answer. Don't BS your way around it. Just be straightforward and tell them, you know what, I don't know, but I'll find out for you. Another good example for honesty is a mechanic that I've had and I've used their shop for years. My car had an issue with the air conditioning a long time ago, and I brought it to the dealership. And the first thing that they said to me, we need to replace the whole air conditioning, and of course it was going to cost over $1,000. And I said, really? And for some reason, I brought it to this mechanic that somebody referred to me. And sure enough, they said, no, we just needed to add more Freon. It's going to cost $100. Guess what? They've earned my business right away. I still go to them, and that was over 15 years ago already. Personalize your service. According to Help Scout survey, 40% of clients want to be treated better and not just a number. They want to interact with people, not a company. So really personalizing your service is what? It's more than just calling them by their name, but taking the time to learn about them, learn about their needs, learn about, what they like. So when you're suggesting a product or, for example, a service, it really matters to them, right? And they feel like you've really taken out the time for them, for that matter. Follow up. So in the same survey, 66% of the people value their time. So follow up and really not wasting their time is huge. Get back to your clients as soon as possible. Don't leave them hanging. If you tell them you're going to find out something, find out in a timely manner. If they're applying for something, tell them right away if they're qualifying for it or not. Don't lead them on or don't waste their time. They would actually appreciate it more if you just tell them, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And then they can move on and find a different, sometimes even refers them to somebody who could do it. Tailor solutions is the last one. This combines listening and personalizing your service. Create a truly unique system where you can figure out what a client needs and you create a solution based on that. Don't just sell them a service or a product that they don't need, but really create something that would help them with their need or enhances that need, pretty much. And they would love that. The best example that I can give you, I used to be a commercial banker. I think I've mentioned that several times. But I had a client who was applying for a loan before. And he was surprised because the banker that was there before me, he was going through different bankers, was just trying to sell him a line of credit right away. I told him first, you know what, before we even get started with the line of credit that you need, tell me what your goals are. Turned out he wanted to purchase a building, his own commercial property in about a year or two. So I explained to him how having a high credit line is detrimental to that because it affects your ratio. And we can get to that next time. So when he understood that, he was so grateful because he did not need a big credit line. He just needed enough to be able to cover his expenses while waiting payment from an insurance company. And I explained to him that this would be better for your goals later on. Oh, I earned an immediate client for life because he was so happy that I was really intent in his well-being, not only just now, but for the future. And I'm not just a salesperson. So tailor solutions is very, very good. All right. So those are some of the general ideas on how there's a lot of different more things that you can do depending on your industry. So, but before we move on and talk to our guest, I do want to talk a little bit about what can happen if you don't have good customer service. The biggest is, of course, reputation damage, especially now in the social media age. So, an average person, when they receive bad customer service, will tell 15 others about the customer service that they receive from you. That's bad, right? But now with social media, I'm not sure, but this is a pretty big story. So I'm going to guess that you probably heard about this. But there was, for example, a video that came out a few years ago about how United breaks guitars. Look it up. It's funny video actually, but it was a bad customer experience. I've checked last night before our show. Over 21 million people have seen it. Can you imagine that? A bad customer experience. Over 21 million people have seen it. So it's very different with the social media age. So it could really hurt your reputation. Loss of clients, of course. Bad customer service, you lose a client, they'll tell others. And not only that, what if it was one of your regulars and you lose them because of a bad customer service? That hurts because it's somebody who's been coming back, giving you repeat clients. Loss of employees. Bad customer service can demoralize an employee to the point where they move on to a different company. And then, of course, lastly, if all of this happens, loss of profits, and that's a given. So just remember, don't let bad customer service break your business. That's the main thing. All right, let's take our break, and when we get back, we'll have our guest join us.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Welcome back. Now I have somebody in studio, a guest, of course, that can give us a really good insight in customer service. Please welcome my good friend, Ericka Aviles, CEO and owner of Aviles Consulting. It's a marketing communications firm. Good evening, Ericka. How are you?
Hi, good, Sonny. Thank you so much for the invitation. It's great to talk to you and the viewers today and your listeners.
Awesome. Now, thank you for coming in. So tell us about Aviles Consulting. How long have you been in business? And just give us some facts, like what made you decide to get into marketing communications?
Yeah, thank you, Sonny. I'm so proud. Ericka Aviles Consulting, started as a little dream and an idea that I had, and now almost 8 years later, we're going strong in the community and in the state of Nevada. And I got into the business. I think we learned in school is identifying a need, and that's what I saw, right? I saw that after working in hospitality and tourism and sales. I kept just seeing this need in terms of multicultural marketing and communications. And I took a leap of faith and I pitched my first client. And as soon as that happened, the other ones kind of came into place, because I know we'll be talking a lot about customer service. Because of that, I think a lot of the customer service component, and I'm so grateful that after a pandemic, we're still standing strong and growing. And so grateful to have the opportunity to work with partners like you and really do what I love.
Awesome. I can answer the second question because, of course, I really truly appreciate your company. I love what you do, but I want to hear it from you. What differentiates Aviles Consulting from your competitors?
You know what, Sonny, I see it in terms of when I think of competition, I really think that who I'm in competition with is with myself, right? Is what can I do every day to show up for my clients, for my community, for my partners? And that's what sets me apart, right? That's what sets me and continue helping me deliver and meet and exceed expectations. And I think, right, little things like these touch points, right, through on the weekends, on text, or I'm a big proponent of thank you letters, handwritten thank you notes, right? And making sure that my team and my clients and my partners, that we're all clear on expectations and deliverables, right? So, making sure that we have a working plan, a timeline, right? I'm very adamant about, having plans, having expectations in place, making sure I know what's important to my clients and what success looks like to them, and making sure that we keep updating and keep communication with our clients, right? I'm in the marketing and communication space, so it's important for my clients to feel comfortable with our internal communication. So I think all these little touch points, clarity and planning, and have a clear understanding of goals and expectations is really what helps continue to, if we have to say, right, differentiate myself from the competitors. And I think also too, I really pay a lot of attention to what's going on across the country, across the world. What are some trends? What are some insights? What is that data that we can come back to and say, hey, you know what, I learned this in the Southwest or in the East Coast, in Latin America, and say, like, what do you think about incorporating something like this? Or here's an idea. And I think that's what people are always looking and appreciate working with myself and our team is, right, how do we come up with new ways of doing things or new ideas and then delivering on that?
No, you do a great job. Just for our listeners to know, I deal with Ericka directly on a daily basis, and she keeps me informed with so many different things. She always makes sure that we listen. She listens to what I need, to what the office needs, and you do an amazing job. I have talked about the importance of customer service in business. Can you speak to how customer service affects your business? You mentioned that you got your account or second account through customer service. Maybe you can use that as an example.
Yeah. Everything, customer service, my business is referral based, right? It's, RTC was my first client, right? And from there,
That's a good client.
And I will always be grateful to Angela Castro and Tina Quigley and now MJ Maynard. Right. What we can deliver to them in our customer service, another partner or another client, you never know who's watching, Sonny, right? And when it comes to that, it's really the customer service and how you're going to show up, how I show up for my clients, for my business. And so much of that, customer service, it's all word of mouth. Everything is from your next business opportunity to your next speaking opportunity, whatever it may be. It's so integral. And I really, advise other, small businesses and anyone, right, is to have a clear understanding of what their policy is and what they want to be known for in terms of customer service, because you want to have that good perception and good service-based business, and customer service to be able to advocate for you, because they are my clients, my partners are my biggest advocates.
It's true. Give us some examples of the different things that Aviles Consulting does that really help enhance customer service and leads to more referrals.
Yes. Sonny, it's crazy when I think back, I've learned so much in the past, almost 8 years of having my own business, but also, having represented Las Vegas as a worldwide destination, having represented MGM Resorts, and even, from high school and college. And I go back to these touch points that I'm making on behalf of my clients, my community, my partners. And some of these examples include, I do a monthly blog post now, right? It's what are my learning? What are some trends? What are some things that I think my followers, our followers will bring value, right? So I do a monthly blog post. I do a quarterly newsletter where I always look for the opportunity to educate as well as to amplify, whether it is, the Office of Small Business Advocacy or Nevada Health Link or the East Las Vegas, right? I want for my clients to see, right, that I'm always looking to see where I can elevate them and the opportunities and their resources. So I really think whether it is through these blog posts, these newsletters, recently I just dedicated a whole section on my website, and now I'm doing paid advertising where I highlight these are projects that should be on your radar, right? As stakeholders in their community. So nobody's asking me to do that, Sonny. It's just where me, I think that's a customer service tool for me where I can educate our community, our stakeholders, and say, hey, we need to hear from you. This is what should be on your radar. here are some opportunities, and for them to see, like, I try to bring value to our community, but also to my clients, our stakeholders. So all of these different ways. And I also think in terms of another example is like connecting. How do I make these connections? I always say, I'm a community matchmaker, right?
Sure.
Who can I link, Sonny to at College of Southern Nevada, right? Who can I link, right, the radio program to another, right, another partner that will bring value. I always really try to find like win-win opportunities and partnerships. I'm a big proponent of partnerships and really making sure everybody wins, and I'm not like, I need you to do this for me. It's, hey, here's a partnership, here's what I can bring to the table, and here's what we're looking for and some opportunities. So I really think I try to be very genuine and mindful in my approach and come with those ideas and make those touch points on behalf of my clients and partners in the community.
I love it. I'm not the expert, but when people come up to me sometimes and tell me and ask me, hey, I want to post stuff on social media or something like, or LinkedIn, what should I say? I'm like, I don't know. You know what? Just be informative.
Exactly.
You just said that.
Exactly. Be informative and be a resource. I mean, and Sonny, we could never tell that you don't know how to do that because you are Mr. Las Vegas. And I think, right, in terms of connections, you've always said, hey, connect with this person.
Yeah.
You're always at events. It's like, it's showing up. And I really think that's a big customer service is about showing up as well.
It's true. That's a huge part. Hey, as a consumer like me, when I go shopping, I go eat, or, I hire somebody for service, I always look for things that make me think, okay, they're great with customer service. I don't know. It's just a habit now.
Me too.
Something like that what do you look for? Let's say you're out there shopping or eating. What do you look for?
Yes. No, thank you, Sonny. And you know what, as a mom, as a working mom I have two girls, not as little anymore, but they're growing up. I really pay attention to what that interaction looks like when I go out with my family, right?
Sure.
Recently, my girlfriend was here from Guam and we went to a Hawaiian restaurant. I had never heard of it. I actually got her card because I want to keep in touch with them, right off of Sahara, close to the Las Vegas Strip. Okay. And the owner came up to us, family-owned restaurant, Hawaiian food, came up to us and really like, welcome. Have you ever been here before? Her whole team was just very welcoming and smiling, right? Like, I felt like I was a part of their family, and I had never been there, Sonny, right? So it's so much in the first impression, right? When we go to a restaurant, and then my girls tend to get a little hangry, right? Like, I need to get them fed because usually we're running. So it's like, hey, can you take my daughter's orders first, right? Can we bring their food out? I don't mind waiting. And, I think they get that, and they get that we're all pressed for time, but I really think it's so much, I always pay attention, like, what's that, am I acknowledged, is my family acknowledged? If I'm out on the business luncheon, like, do you really feel that warmth, like, of a welcome and like, we're glad that you're here, and I think as especially restaurants or people in the service industry, like, that's what I pay attention to. And you can really tell when somebody's really welcoming and enjoying of, like, right, you're coming into their business. And you know what, Sonny, since that restaurant in Hawaii, I probably have told 10 people about it, right? Like, I posted it on my Instagram, I tweeted like, hey, come support this woman-owned business. The ambiance, like, because I want to make sure we're talking about these good restaurants and these good experiences. So I think I pay attention to that, the smile, the experience.
The experience is huge.
You know what? The experience. I also love to shop, so I love, like, what's the return policy? I love, I was just at Nordstrom this past weekend, there is their little Nordstrom sale. Right. And I pay attention to what's the return policy and how do I feel when I go, because like, they have the most amazing, like, customer service experience. And you know what, that's why I'm loyal. We're loyal, when somebody has that customer service they're delivering, like, we're loyal to that.
Oh my God, you just reminded me. Actually, one of my best customer service experiences through Nordstrom. It was my wife's birthday is the 16th of December. And then, of course, it's Christmas time, right? And
Yes, yes.
I ordered her a birthday gift, and it didn't come on time. I paid extra to make it come on time, and it didn't. And of course, I called, and they were so nice. They said, "Come down to the store right now." They gave me credit of how much I paid, so I can get whatever I needed to buy. And then after her birthday, the item came. And
Yeah.
I called Nordstrom. I called, "Where do you want me to return this?" It did come. It just came on blank. And so you keep it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I
See?
was like, wow, really?
Yes, yeah. And they certainly don't need to do that, but you know what, like,
Oh,
people remember that. And I really, obviously it's a big national brand, but
sure.
I think as small business owners, you see what these other experiences, and it's like, you can take that, even how they give you the bag, like they come around and they give you the bag, like in your hand, like it's all of these like touch points, right? Personal touch points. And I think that, anybody listening, right, is what are those touch points look like for you in your business, right? And how do
You can
you,
always incorporate it,
and
right?
you can always
Yeah,
incorporate it. There's so much out there that, you don't have to recreate the wheel. It's right there from our personal day-to-day experiences.
I agree. Another one that I can think of, believe it or not, came from a mortuary. We went to a funeral, and it was taking a little bit longer. And this lady who worked there saw that we had two kids, came out with bread for them, and said, "I'm so sorry, this is all I can find, but I don't want your kids to get hungry." And I'm like, wow, I'm like, you even thought about that?
No, I mean, yeah, especially with kids are involved. Like, I love when there's coloring books, there's bread,
Yeah.
that's their favorite. And just like, and sometimes too, Sunday, it's like acknowledgement, right? I'm sorry, we'll be right with you. Thank you for being patient,
Sure.
like all of these little things that you're like, okay, like, you right, we know everybody's, I know can be shortages in certain industries, like, but I think sometimes it's just acknowledging like, hey, it is what it is, but we appreciate your patience, like, instead of being left out in the dark.
I've always believed that building a culture of great customer service means hiring people that truly fit your company, fit your company's culture. How true is that to your chosen industry?
It's very true. It's very true. And most recently, we just brought on a new team member to Ericka Aviles Consulting. Glenda is new to our team, but you know what? Glenda and now Leandra, Sam, all of our team members, Sunny, I've known them for over 10 years.
Wow.
Glenda over 15 years. We've had that personal relationship. We've worked together. We've partnered on different things through other jobs, Sunny, through other off the clock, like we've gotten to know each other. And I really value that from our team members, because they all have unique experiences and offerings that they bring to the client, to the table, but also they know how I work, right? They know our brand, and they know, like they have to be vested into the mission too, right? And what we're trying to do. So I really value that, and their loyalty, in that sense. So it's very integral for me in that sense. Like anybody that works for me, whether it's full-time or sometimes we have staff like that, they really know the expectations and about our business and about our clients, because my name, as you see, is the business. So it's very important for me. It's very important for me that anybody that has EAC, that is delivering on our promise.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. All right. It's too bad it's only a 30-minute show. Your last word, best advice to business owners on how to improve customer service.
Three things I was writing down, right? Communications and making sure you have touch points with your team.
Big one.
Right.
Yeah.
We cannot just rely on email. We can't just rely, right? We know so many of us are working remote or whatever it may be, making sure you have that one-on-one communication. Number two, setting expectations, right? What are your deadlines? What are your deliverables? What are the expectation of your team, right? And number three, being open to suggestions and feedback. You know, I just had a call with my team, like we're trying to figure out this event for, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month. We're working on some other fall activations. Like, I can't come up with all the answers, and I lean on my team to feel comfortable to say, you know what, Ericka, that's not the best idea, and I'm okay with that. But, you know, but they come with other suggestions, right? So again, number three things, those communication touch points with your team, setting expectations, and just being open to constructive feedback, you know, and that aspect of it. So I really think, you know, there's so much opportunity and so many different things out there for small businesses to take advantage of, to learn and grow as well.
Wow, those were awesome advice. Thank you so much for coming in. No, we really appreciate it. That's our show for tonight. I do want to thank Ericka again for coming in. If you want to consult with Ericka, any questions, please give me a call. I'll connect you to her. There you go. How about that?
Thank you. Yes, there you go. You're the community connector. Yeah, connect with me. I'm active on all social media, but I'm happy to help and be a word of advice to anybody. I always say, Sonny, when small businesses succeed, so does our community. So
I like that.
Keep working with everyone on that. So thank you for the invitation.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye, Ericka. Thank you.
Bye-bye.